the entire Arya plotline in Braavos has been retroactively, at best, severely tainted, and at worst, utterly just destroyed. It's kind of an abortion. Last week when we talked, Jason was mentioning his dry pie was Arya, and for good reason, considering what happened to her, and I just couldn't wrap my head around. I couldn't believe, and I know I'm not alone. I know that just every podcast I listen to, everybody that I talk to, nobody wanted to believe that Arya would be as dumb as she was to allow herself to be attacked like that. And so, obviously, the theories ran wild about the Fight Club scenario where Arya and Wait for the same person. People were speculating that it might be Jaqen and not Arya. I had some crazy ideas that maybe one of the actresses from the acting group. And it turns out that it was just Arya's a dumb shit. Arya allowed herself to be attacked in broad daylight, standing around on a bridge without a weapon to defend herself, when she knew the consequences of her leaving the Faceless Men, and she knew the consequences of failure. And to write it off as, as I've heard a few people try to defend it as she's a young girl. And, she's a kid, what do you want? But she's a kid who has shown to be very cunning. We got all those scenes with her and Tywin. We've watched her grow into a hardened killer. She's been training with these Faceless Men for, I don't know how long now. This is like kind of textbook survival skills, right? That she should have known and that she seemed to just completely ignore. So here's how I'll sum this whole thing up. Because this whole Arya plot it ruined the episode for me, if I'm being frank. It retroactively, like I said, ruined the entire arc in Braavos. I feel like the whole thing was a waste of time now. Because she goes to Braavos to learn to become a Faceless Man, winds up right back where she started because she realized she doesn't want to become no one, and all she gained out of it was learning how to fight in the dark. And then we learned that Jaqen, because the one saving grace could have been if Jaqen had turned out to be this cool character or something, but we find that he's just a fucking, hired assassin in a shitty robe. Like, I don't know. There's a certain rule with any kind of art, whether it's with television, film, or music, and I totally fuck it up every time I do one of these goddamn things. But it's start strong, finish strong. If you don't start strong and you don't finish strong, then everything in the middle is for shit. Because everybody, if you fuck the ending or you totally fuck the beginning, nobody's going to give a fuck about what happened in between. And I feel like maybe it started strong, it certainly didn't finish strong, and I feel like there was 1,000 ways they could have done that better than what they did. Let me ask you guys this. Have you ever seen anybody get shanked in the stomach 3 or 4 times with the knife getting twisted, and then, number 1, survive, number 2, survive to where they're able to run through town, jumping from bridges and tumbling around steps, and come on, right? Isn't it, am I right? Am I wrong to bitch about this shit? The Hound getting thrown off a fucking cliff is one thing, all right? The guy, he's a big fucker, he's hard to kill, like he says. But, a 13-year-old fucking girl getting shanked like that should not be able to move for weeks, much less she spends a night in the actress's house, Lady Crane, eats a bowl of soup, takes a little milk of Poppy, suddenly she can run around and fucking do kind of acrobatics and shit. Get the fuck out of here. So I had to get that out of the way. Those are kind of just my initial thoughts after watching the episode once. Okay. What did you guys think of that whole thing? Because I know you guys aren't pleased either based on some of the things that you've said. Feel free, whoever wants to chime in on it before we kind of move forward with the cast.
When Jaqen was first introduced, what was it, 2 seasons ago? And when he met her, I don't remember how long ago. I thought he was a real cool character. But then when Arya goes to Braavos, I was like, all right, cool. She can, she's gonna learn to train to be one of the people with no name or whatever. And then it just was, I've said it before, like anticlimactic. It was just There was no payoff. She's just going to go back and be Arya Stark with a few extra skills to add to her sword fighting in the dark.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot more people, I think, were a little bit baffled that there was no huge payoff with the Arya storyline in Braavos.
I mean, even if it wasn't huge, even if it wasn't huge, and if it was just kind of interesting the way it ended.
I mean, even if she
interesting.
Even if she stabbed Jack with needle or something, that would have been better than just her walking away.
Yeah, and he kind of just before. I'm sorry, Andre. I mean, I know I've already been ranting, but I'll just say this too. I heard somebody else in another podcast kind of refer to this the whole order of the Faceless Men. It's like you kind of look at it almost like if you were to join the mafia, or if you were part of the mob or something, and you wanted out. What are the odds that you pull one over on them, fuck the mafia over, and then just walk out of town with your life? And you're in the clear, no problems. You go right up to the Don, be like, you know what, fuck you, I'm done. I'm Arya Stark. Later, bitch. And they just let you fucking leave. Do you think that happens for a second? All he does is kind of give her a look like he maybe just farted and is waiting for her to smell it. The stupid-ass grin that he gives her, and then she just walks the fuck out of there. Come on, man. It's that easy? Is it that easy? All right, sorry. I'm going to... Andre, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, man, there's a lot. So this is probably... I really went down the rabbit hole of theories, and I think you posted the picture of the one girl that looked like Arya from behind, and Arya just had a different look. So, I mean, I think most people who watch the show are on the same page that this whole Arya story looked like it was going to have some massive conclusion. Like it was, I really thought Arya was going to end up being Jaqen. I'm really, really surprised by the direction they took with the story. It didn't, all that fucking build up and she fights the waif and that's it. I love Jaqen Hagar. He's one of my favorite characters, and I get what they were trying to do, and I get why. So I think part of the problem the show's having is it's trying to resolve all these storylines because for some reason they are intent on only doing 13 more episodes, but they've done 5.5 or what is it now, 6.5 seasons of build-up, and they're going to run out of time. So I think they're cutting stories like Dorne and they're cutting stories like Arya short because of the time crunch. So I get that, but man, that's some fucking shitty storytelling. I mean, there were some cool parts of it. I really loved the chase. That was awesome. I tend to lean to think that Arya wasn't acting foolish. She was trying to out the way, but she got stabbed in the stomach twice and twisted, and it seems like it only affected her a couple times. Like, it hurt her in the moment, but then when she was in bed, it was seemingly okay. She was able to get up and move around within 24 hours, unless that was just a really shitty, way of showing the audience that a significant amount of time had passed, but I can't imagine that it was more than a day. I get Jaqen not... I really do think that Jaqen is willing to... was willing to let go of his grudge. I think he really genuinely likes Arya, so I think that was kind of obvious, but man, I was really fucking let down. I was really... I don't know, all the serial Pharrell talk, like, it was way too straightforward for all the build-up they gave it.
Yeah. Now, see, you mentioned Arya's arc being kind of cut short, or honestly, I don't feel like it was cut short. I think for what we got, it's like if that's the route you want to take, and okay, so Arya's going to reject the Faceless Men. She doesn't want to become no one. She's going to get out and she's going to go head back to Westeros. That's fine. But to waste so much time showing us her in Braavos, and ultimately for what? Did they really need to show us as much as they did? They cut Bran out for an entire season because I don't know. I mean, maybe they had to wait for everybody else's story to catch up. Fine, but how much shit have they kind of rushed so that they could give us scene after scene of Arya and the waif sparring and training? I don't know, and it's just there are little things. Now, I personally wasn't as big of a fan of the chase, but that might just be me. That's just a matter, I think, of personal taste. It was a little too action Terminator for me. Like a little bit hokey, but again, I think that's just personal taste, and we can agree to disagree, and that's fine. What I can't accept is it would have been so easy for, let's go back to last week when the waif sneaks up on her and shanks her. Okay, fine. At the very least, you have Arya at least looking over her shoulder, and maybe the waif gets one over on her, but they show Arya being smarter than that. She just ends up getting caught, and maybe when she gets caught, the waif tries to get her, and Arya's slick enough to dodge it, catches one to the shoulder, and then gets away. Not this, holy fuck, she's getting stabbed in the fucking stomach like 5 fucking times. No shit, she's twisting the fucking knife. There's no fucking way you walk away from that. I mean, what reality? I understand there's dragons and ice zombies and magic and resurrections. Yes, I get that it's a fantasy show. But Arya isn't a superhuman, right? She's still supposed to be a human character, not fucking Wolverine, okay? She's not supposed... Humans in the show are still humans. If a fucking white got stabbed like that, fine. And, that's what they do. But this is Arya. I just... next time I see somebody get stabbed in the throat or in the gut, should I be worried, or are they just going to be fine? Do we have to... So basically, you only need to worry about somebody dying when you see their head get removed from their fucking body. All right? That's basically it. Or unless you see them burnt at a stake. There's just certain things that they did like that were easy to avoid, and they didn't. I just feel like it was all lazy writing these last couple episodes. And like I said, the ending, the way they wrapped it up retroactively ruined everything for me.
Hey, she's going to use her new assassin skills to save the day. She's going to help Jon Snow reclaim Winterfell.
Yeah, well, she better hurry the fuck up and get over there then, because I think shit's going down. Well, I don't think shit's going down next week. Shit is going down next week, so...
Yeah.